Have you ever opened a book to read the first line and suddenly realized you were already running for your life in the middle of an argument or watching a dramatic event unfold, and before you knew it, boom, you were hooked? That's the magic of starting a story in medias res. Hi writer, I'm Andrea from Bibisco, the novel writing software downloaded by more than 200,000 writers around the world to craft their stories with clarity and confidence. And in this video, you are going to learn how to grab your reader's attention from the very first sentence, not with tricks, but with one of the oldest and most powerful storytelling techniques ever invented, in medias res. By the end of this video, you will know how to use it and how to make your opening absolutely irresistible. So let's start with a simple question. What exactly does in medias res mean? A phrase comes from Latin and literally means in the midst of things. Horace used it in his Ars Poetica to describe stories that don't ease you in. They drop you straight into the heart of the action. Imagine opening a novel and immediately seeing a character sprinting through the night, clutching something that could ruin everything. You don't know who they are yet or why they are running, but your brain instantly lights up with questions. That instinctive need to understand that forward lean is the essence of in medias res. Writers have used this technique for thousands of years. Homer plunges us directly into the Trojan War in the Iliad. Modern authors like Virginia Woolf and Ernest Hemingway use it to create immediacy and emotional impact. And today, whether you are watching a blockbuster film or scrolling Netflix, you encounter it constantly. And the reason is simple: it works. Beginning in the middle bypasses the slower openings readers often skim and replaces them with something far more powerful: the psychological effect of urgency, anticipation, and curiosity. So how do you, as a writer, make in medias res feel intentional instead of chaotic? The first step is choosing a scene that truly matters. Not just something exciting, but something that embodies the central conflict of your story. It doesn't need to be an explosion or a dramatic chase. It could be a heated conversation where a relationship shifts, a crucial decision that will shape the protagonist's trajectory, or a moment where a character faces an emotional turning point that hints at their deeper struggle. The key is that these scenes must contain the DNA of your narrative, the tension, the tone, or the emotional stakes that the rest of the story will explore. Once you bring the reader into this moment, your job is to guide them without overwhelming them. And here's what that means in practical terms. In the first 2-3 sentences, give the reader just enough orientation to understand 3 things: who is acting, where they are, and what immediate problem they are facing. Not the whole backstory, not why the problem exists, just what is happening right now. You can do this through very small but precise choices. For example, a gesture that shows the character's emotional state, like tightening a grip on a steering wheel. A line of dialogue that instantly clarifies a relationship: "Don't walk away from me again." Detail in the environment that situates the scene: rain hammering on a rooftop, the sterile smell of a hospital corridor, or the echo of footsteps in an abandoned station. Each of these gives the reader anchoring information without stopping the action. Only after the reader knows where they are and what the immediate tension is can you begin to reveal the deeper layers: why this moment matters, what came before it, what it means for the character's journey. That part should come gradually, like a camera that slowly pulls back to reveal more of the world around your character. So the rule of thumb is this: at the start, give the reader clarity of situation, not clarity of history. They should understand the moment, even if they don't yet understand the past. If you deliver the information in the right order, first what's happening, then why it matters, every new detail will feel like it arrives exactly when the reader is ready for it. And by the way, since we are already deep in the middle of the action here, this feels like the perfect moment to ask you gently, unlike some dramatic opening, to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Consider it your own tiny act of in medias res, jumping right into the story of this community of writers. starting in the middle creates immediate expectations. The reader assumes this moment is part of something larger. If the scenes that follow feel disconnected or if the tension collapses, the opening will seem like a trick rather than the true beginning of the story. So, sustaining momentum in medias res means showing how the consequences of that first moment spread outward. Each following scene should echo or extend the questions raised at the start. What caused this moment? What does it change? Who is affected? Even quieter scenes can carry this energy if they reveal something new about the event we dropped into, something that shifts its meaning or raises the stakes. Think of the opening as the explosion and the following scenes as the shock waves. They don't need to be loud, but they do need to move outward with purpose, leading the reader toward understanding both the hidden past and the uncertain future connected to that moment. When every scene deepens or complicates what the reader saw in the opening, your immediate res beginning stops being just exciting, it becomes indispensable. One of the biggest mistakes writers make with immediate res is sacrificing clarity for drama. It's tempting to be mysterious, but if your reader can't tell what's happening, who the characters are, or even what the immediate goal of the scene is, the effect isn't intrigue, it's confusion, and confusion kills engagement. A reader who feels lost is a reader who closes the book. Even if you withhold backstory, the present moment must be understandable. Another common trap is leaning too heavily on flashbacks to fill in the gaps. Flashbacks are powerful tools, but when they become the primary way you deliver information, the story starts feeling like a constant interruption of itself. Instead of building momentum, the narrative gets stuck in an endless loop of "wait, let me explain." The present story should always feel like the spine of the narrative, with flashbacks used sparingly and strategically, never as a crutch. And finally, don't forget that character development still matters, even when you drop readers into the middle of the action. Beginning in the thick of things doesn't excuse flat characters. In fact, in medias res demands stronger characterization, because readers have less context to rely on. Even in a high-pressure moment, you can reveal motivation through choices, desire through behavior, and fear with subtle reactions. And if you want to experiment with this kind of structure, Bibisco can make your life so much easier. The software lets you rearrange chapters, move scenes around, and play with nonlinear storytelling without losing sight of the broader narrative. But one of the real superpowers of Bibisco is how it helps you manage time and character development, two elements that become even more crucial when you start in medias res. With the timeline, you can map every event of your story in chronological order, even if the reader will experience those events out of order. This means you can begin your book right in the middle of the action and still keep perfect control of what happened before and what will happen after. The timeline becomes your safety net, no contradiction, no accidental plot holes. And speaking of characters, the character development section gives you a complete space to explore who they are beneath the surface, their backstory, their desires, their fears, their emotional wounds, everything that in medias res will hint at, but not immediately explained. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you are ready to bring immediate res into your own writing, download Bibisco using the link in the description. See you in the next video. Bye bye!